this ball game. Now, across the way, Max Duggan is the guy that's going to step up. Absolutely love this guy's narrative. He's got weapons all over the field. Quentin Johnson, Savion Williams, and X and Z, respectively. He's got a tight end that's unbelievable off the charts. So many weapons. Can he distribute effectively? He's healthy, and that's a good thing.
Stockton to Malone. Who's going to be the Jeff Hornacek? Who's going to be the third wheel?
How about Sammy Whitler?
That's right. A tight end, perhaps. And will the iron be kind to Stockton and Malone? The Horned Frogs are ready. It's number 17, Kansas State, in to take on TCU. We've had all the tailgating we can handle. It's time to kick this baby off. And college football this year is this guy. Now imagine Adrian Martinez, where he played for 4 years. He turned it over 30 times via pass interception. And in his 6 games here, he has not turned it over via pass interception yet. Only one in this conference to have not thrown a pick. Deuce Vaughn is a setback. You're going to be hearing his name a lot. And it's a play fake to him, and here's Martinez on his own.
That's the two-man game, Kim.
Yep. Right away, he's out to the 45. Abe Kamara with the stop. That's a gain of 19 yards.
Tim, we compared this to Stockton Malone. Again, that little simple pass, that little mesh exchange, you got to count for numbers. Every defense starts off preparing to stop number 22. And until Martinez started to break out, they really didn't account for him. That's going to cost some teams until they catch up.
They marked it at the 44. A little bubble screen out to Knowles. And Malik is past midfield, just into TCU territory, shy of the 49. As you look at the rest of this offense, Hayden Gillum is the leader, the center of this team. KT Leviston, keep an eye on him. Very solid left tackle. Christian Duffy over at the right-hand side. They'll use Simmett, the tight end, and a couple of others. Wheeler, Will Swanson as well. Vaughn and Knowles in that backfield. Second down and 3 from the 49 of TCU. Vaughn. Excellent penetration that time. Coming up from the corner, that's Travius Hodges-Tomlinson, that's right. Son of Slovenian. There's that TCU defense, the 3-3-5, which is a bit of an eye cloud, as they used to call it back in the day. Defensive coordinator Joe Gillespie's very high on these cornerbacks and safeties. They're like hybrids, safeties that play like corners. Third down and 3.
They're in the 3-cross look right now, Tim. Everybody at the same level. They're going to come down into a single safety look, trying to disguise it.
Martinez with all kinds of time, pass incomplete. Great coverage. Pass intended for Kane Warner. Johnny Hodges all over him.
Yeah, he was right there in his hip pocket. Hodges, where that high dug his leg breaking, and she shows you why right here. The guy reads and reacts. If you can get a big guy that can cover this way underneath, it covers a multitude of sins. Everybody's locked down and covered up, including Malik Knowles and ex-receiver. Got him down. Tomlinson done a wonderful job on their top receiving threat. That takes away number 1. But those are the two guys, Tim, you don't have to worry about as much. It's Deuce Vaughn and Martinez.
Ty Zentner is in to punt it away on a 4th and 3. Darius Davis is some weapon that you have in special teams. He was giving them half a field last week, and we got a timeout.
Timeout, Kansas State.
Yep, they got the timeout.
This is a 30-second timeout.
Brett Bender was all over that. They got the timeout rather than the penalty.
That's an un-Kansas State-like move right there. Not quite sure if they had enough personnel out there or not. Looks like they got that lined up.
There's Chris Kleiman. Talk about an outstanding builder of a program. We mentioned that a lot with Sonny Dykes. But Kleiman, now in his 4th season, went through the COVID year as soon as he got to Manhattan, Kansas, and he's been pretty much lights out ever since, replacing a legendary Bill Snyder, who retired after the 2018 campaign.
Tim, you look at the coaches who are having success in the game right now. They come from those lower levels. They really have found a way to touch these players in this new era.
There's a champion of North Dakota State. This is a beautiful boot, but Davis comes up and takes the fair catch. At the 17, 32-yard boot. And again, into a pretty stiff breeze. Oh. Stay.
Tim, when you take a look at the impact of this game tonight, as we look at our champion's mindset, it's all about the fireman's attitude. Sonny, that guy on the right there, I mean, he's already demonstrated what a coach's impact can have on the performance of his team, sitting there undefeated. Ultimately, TCU now, on the other side, they've got to do some things that I call the sunny side up. It's about having the attitude permeate your program. Both sides can take a page out of his book.
So right away on first down, they go to Henry Miller, and he gets out for a 9-yard pickup. It'll be second down and a yard to go. As you look at the numbers on Duggan, these two teams have played 12 combined games, and the quarterbacks have only one total pick. Duggan has one to go with his 16 touchdowns. As you see, a tremendous play by Julius Brent, a cornerback. Julius Brent's coming up and getting a loss on that one. As there was just no room for Henry Miller.
Great defense again. That's what this Kansas State defense does. They play very sound, a lot of integrity here. You're going to have to make some mistakes to beat them.
Third down and 2. Duggan, he runs tough too. Best way to describe him, Spencer, in my mind, and this sounds so cliche, but it's true, football player. Man is a football player. Very much like Taysom Hill in my mind.
Yep.
Taysom Hill of the Saints, sort of a guy that can do it all. You can line him up at tight end if you wanted. He's that big and that strong.
Well, when you've got the type of defensive front that Kansas State does, you got a 3-man front, there's going to be some soft spots that he'll be able to take advantage of.
He just followed Miller into the hole that time. Now he's rolling right under the wrist.
He's underrated.
His speed is absolutely underrated because he was being given chase by one of the faster players out there for Kansas State.
And Tim, you can see him working outside, and when he doesn't have the option, he pulls it down. He trusts his speed. This guy's a former track runner. Back in high school, he used to train. A couple of years ago, he told us, and as he's gotten bigger over time, the focus was, how can I maintain this speed without losing some of that size and strength? He's bigger, stronger now. More importantly, he's healthy as well.
Second down and 9. K-State brings someone off the edge, and they go right up the gut. And it's Miller, spun down after a gain of 5. He gets up to the 35. That's Kobe Savage, number 2, that made the tackle. But
Yeah, Eli Huggins was the guy nose tackle that blew that thing up, though, man. I'm telling you, he came out there like a bat out of hell. He was all up in the back on the opposite side of that line of scrimmage, and that's how you can be disruptive. They need that. With just 3 guys on that defensive front, we've all seen how you can expose it if you hit those soft spots.
already making meatloaf references with bat out of hell. I like that. Third down and 6. Duggan, plenty of time. There's his man. It's Darius Davis. He's got all kinds of speed. Touchdown, TCU, 65 yards.
By the way, did we mention he backs up Tay Barber at the H position? Tim, they've got speed all over the place. You can immediately put a guy in your hip pocket that fast. It shows you what they're capable of doing. That's Daniel Green, the inside linebacker. That's a mismatch, and that's what this team thrives at. They will find those matchups, and they will exploit them. Early in this contest, TCU already doing a number.
Griffin Hill will try the extra point. He's been perfect. Well, Davis had an 80-yard touchdown earlier in the year. This one goes for 65. His 4th touchdown reception, number 17 for Max Duggan. Hello, how do you do, TCU?
IKEA.
Takes 2.5 minutes and an explosive play at 65 yards to Darius Davis. And this blackout crowd is being heard from early and often.
Tim, we had a concerned whether or not TCU will be in a situation where they can score from inside. If they keep doing this, they won't have to worry about performing in the red zone.
Knowles is going to bring it out from 3 yards deep. And he catapults out to the 25-yard line. Let's go back to that touchdown. Show us how Darius Davis got so wide open.
Well, it's really easy. Everybody's man locked up. This is going to be eventually one free. So here's Drake Cheatham, the Jack safety. Why they call him Jack? It means Jack of all trades. Probably the best cover man. But right here, he gets put in his hip pocket, and Darius just is drifting to the numbers, and he gets upfield, and this is just about speed on the back end. Quarterback handles the pressure. Tremendous drop up front of protection. And Steve Avila, he did a wonderful job at left guard protecting. What an asset he has been for this team up front and left guard. Outstanding collaboration both up front and on the back end.
Will Howard has come in at quarterback. He's going to take it. Running a little zone read, and he is out well beyond the 35 to the 40-yard line. You know, when Martinez went to the sidelines at the end of that first series, I noticed that he got on the phone very quickly to talk upstairs with Colin Klein. Maybe something was wrong. He may have gotten hurt towards the end of that series, and we simply didn't notice it.
Well, I can tell you, second and third down becomes really important now. It's always been, but it's especially important now, Ken.
It's DJ Giddens who backs up Vaughn, toting it out to the 44-yard line, and we will do the best that we possibly can to decipher how and when we may have been hurt.
See, this
doing
is
everything that we can to go back and see where that might have happened. A gain of 4, second and 6.
part of this is why this is so important, because they've been able to use Martinez on third and say second and third in those conflict scenarios and create route combinations like they have here, 3 to 1 side, to release him away from that pressure. We'll see if Howard can do the same.
Pump fake and a beauty by Howard. Fields it, and it is caught. That's Phillip Brooks, number 8, inside the 30 to the 28. Now remember, Howard has not yet played this season. They had been thinking about preserving a red shirt on him, but he's had plenty of playing time. He had 3 starts a year ago. And this is a kid that's played some big-time college football. That was a 28-yard gain. Now going for the post corner. Warner! Does he have a touchdown? Cade Warner on the receiving end. And the shootout is officially on.
Timmy, what a wonderful job of Cade of owning that ball and going up and grabbing it out of the hands of the defender. What a tremendous job. He treats it like it's his own ball here.
Josh Newton is one of the best corners they've got.
The best cover guy on the field for them. And Tim, this is just an attitude thing right here. Guys in position to take it away from you, couldn't have played it better. You just wanted it more.
Tennant with the extra point. I think Will Howard just decided to say, I'm okay. The program is in great shape, even if I'm quarterbacking, huh? His second touchdown, Warner's. Howard's first throw for a TD this year. DiMarcano, a 25-yard return, gets it out to the 20. Outstanding running back. Amari DiMarcano, a 25-yard return, gets it out to the 27. That's Martinez now talking with Howard, thanking him, I'm sure. This is where we believe he grimaced a little bit after this throw, Spencer. Whether it had been a nagging problem before, we're not sure. Watch this grimace, and then as he came off the field, he was limping a bit.
Yeah, there's no question about it, Tim. And again, he's such an integral part of what they've been. And in this minimalist approach, I think one of the things that Chris Hodgman has done is created a system where they can have a minimalist approach, and if they have to change, the book is not going to be that complicated for the new signal caller. I think that's why we saw production so early with the touchdown.
He looked as if he was going to defer to Howard. That ball may have been discovered and would have been complete. It was an incomplete pass intended for Quentin Johnston, who got hit in the eyes with that. That ball got him up in the face mask.
That's
and
odd,
fell down. A
guy with such long levers. I mean, he's a legitimate 6'4", 6'5", Tim. I don't know how the ball got through the face guard.
The nose of the football got through his face guard and into his eye.
They might check
maybe a contact with the ball too.
that space between the face mask there, because I think it hit him in the chest.
Yeah. Then when he went back down, something got him in the eye. And right away, they get Miller the football, and he gains 4. So 3rd down and 6 coming up.
It was so interesting to watch this offense do what it does in practice, Tim. They have so much confidence, so many different weapons they can throw to. And I was counting some of them in the plays, not necessarily going to get into all of that, but the bottom line is this. They were prepared for the win tonight, and that was one of the reasons why you're starting to see these kind of horizontal passes, because they're going into the win scenario.
On the shotgun. Little curl pattern. And they'll use the tight end a lot in this game, and this is a great one. Jared Wiley, the Texas transfer, he was incredible at the winning score a week ago when they came from 17 down to beat Oklahoma State. That's a gain of 10 and a 1st down.
Excellent protection against this 3-man front.
Duggan will tuck it and go. And get about to the line of scrimmage, maybe also about a yard.
You know, if I'm giving Bugs and the coaches here, I'm saying, look, if it's a 3-man rush, I'm releasing outside every single time, because Duggan, if he just steps up, he's going to attract so much tension because of his speed, Tim. You got 5 offensive linemen blocking 3 guys. The chances of those guys getting to the edges to set it are slim with this guy, because they've been coached to not let him break in the middle of the field.
That was Joe Klanderman, the defensive coordinator for Kansas State, you saw there. Miller. He is absolutely tangled up, and Daniel Green, outstanding Mike linebacker, coming up with the tackle. This is a K-State team that doesn't hurt itself. Generally speaking, you're going to have to beat them. They don't beat themselves. That's been a mantra for years under Snyder, and now still under Kleinman as head coach.
Daniel Green along with Austin Moore, 41, the Will linebacker. They're up here. Let's see how they handle this trick formation outside. Duggan's got 27 seconds to work with when he breaks that huddle, Tim. They like to give him that time so he can get into the best 3 plays they got.
There go trips to the top, a little teacup formation.
Yep.
Duggan over the middle again, and it's caught. And flags come down late as Tay Barber reeled that one in. Number 4. Flag came down just as he went down at the 45-yard line. Looks like holding, the preliminary indication against Kansas State.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 1, defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a 1st down.
That was Josh Hayes, the guilty party, number 1.
Well, Tay Barber's at the top of that apex of that teacup there, or bunch formation. He drives upfield, does a nice job of turning outside, and Hayes is in his hip pocket, but man, that arm got caught right there.
Yeah, he was holding on. Duggan
Nice.
right over the middle. Wiley. Jared Wiley. Well, he is every bit 6'7",
Every bit of
and
it.
255, 260, 19 yards and another 1st down.
Out of Temple, Texas, the transfer, showing you he can, I don't know how he got lost, Tim. He's so big.
DiMarcano just into the game. Almost did not have the ball seated before the pressure came from Anudike Uzama, number 91.
Here's the Wiley catch here, Tim. He's wide open. I mean, the guy, as you said, is 6'7", 250-plus pounds. If he keeps his feet, he may be still running just a little bit. And believe me, when you're trying to defend that guy, when you're coming up, Keon Stewart and company, they better be mindful. He'll take you with him.
All right, here comes DiMarcano and Trent Battle into the backfield now. Right over the top, and it's incomplete. It was. That was Corliss Spivey.
Yep.
That was Diori Corliss Spivey, the intended receiver. And you're right, Tomlinson was right there.
Tomlinson did a great job of breaking on this ball, and it was high. You know, we've been talking about the length of these great receivers here. You got to go up and pluck that ball out of the air. You can do it, you know, and it's a matter of conditioning, focus, and the ability to consistently pluck that ball out of the air, particularly when you have man cover.
I should correct ourselves. It was Josh Hayes that was making that play, number 1. TCU 4 for 4 on 3rd downs. Here's Duggan again. That's Johnston. And he stopped. the 26-yard line. Again, tremendous tackling. Khalid Duke, number 29 this time, Spence. The 4th down and 11 coming up.
Well, much more measured drive here, Tim. Both teams answering one another, scoring first. TCU, then Kansas State coming right back with their own touchdown.
Cal has not missed, either tonight or this year. 6 for 6. This will be from 43 yards. His longest is 47. From the right hash, we got all of it. With room to spare, and the fireworks go off. But I'm sure K-State is thinking that's a W. In today's game, any drive. Means anything today, Spence. That's what I thought we saw.
I can tell you this, though, there's less pressure on him here than it was in Nebraska. And I think that's part of what Coach Hyman was communicating to us the other day, Tim.
Yep. Pretty good first drive for Will Howard when he came in there, to say the very least.
Yep, he worked the inside zone, and then he showed you some nice touch on the ball here. A tremendous job on the score. Your teammate, when that you can play like that again, I think it's because of a minimalist style of offense that they have. There are no drastic changes that are required for the replacement that comes in, so it's plug and play.
Yep.
That's one of the advantages of their approach.
And remember, this is a guy that in 2020 set a Wildcat freshman record for touchdown passes during the COVID year. Vaughn on a stretch play.
This is one of the things you can book right now. 22 is probably going to have to take over this game. A lot of inside zone. Try to win on first down so you can create the conflict, put Howard in a position where he can be as efficient as he possibly can. But you want to put this game in the hands of 22.
From the 30, second down and 5. Vaughn, they were ready for him that time. That's Tyman Mitchell, 91, the junior out of Nashville. Franklin Road High School there, Georgia transfer.
I like the idea, though. What they're trying to do is affect the subtlety, the slight motion and movement. The eye discipline of this TCU defense is what they're trying to affect, because number 22 doesn't need much daylight at all.
So after no gain, it's third down and 5.
Four-man rush.
Underneath. Yeah, so there's Warner again. Already with a touchdown reception. He gets a first down out to the 42.
That's Josh Newton again, and he dealt on Tim. He just pivoted and spun right out of his hands, man. Just did a wonderful job of just showing you. Here's the T-cup formation, 32, 34 at the top. Got a bigger body there, and again, the in and out arrow route, the ability to seat that ball in the proper hand so as to not expose it to being tripped out. Warner's just playing great football right now, running away from the would-be defender to extend yardage.
He's coming off an offer against Iowa State. No catches a couple of weeks back. Hauled in his first career touchdown against Tulane in their only loss. 3 and change remaining in the opening quarter.
Game here,
Yeah, to the wide side of the field. What a defensive play that was. Gittens hammered right away by Naldi Obiazor. And he's the one I think that's on the ground and not getting up after delivering this blow. Number 4, the strong safety.
Obiazor is really down. He's hurt, Tim, and that shoulder really, really hurt him when he went down on it. And,
he's in real pain.
Yep, he really is. It's unfortunate.
Obiazor, a man from Minnesota that's played very well for them. And by way of the junior college ranks, was at Iowa Western Community College.
They've got a number of transfers on that back end of that defense, Tim, that are pretty good contributors for them. And one of the ways that this defense has secured itself, and Sonny Dykes talked about how he built it, not being afraid to go get talent and plug some holes. This number 4 is up.
Yep. Might have been because of that shoulder. Just popped it right back in. We'll see if he can get back out there. They need him because they can use him. They use him in different places. He'll play strong safety. They'll move him to the nickel from time to time based on the different coverages that Joe Gillespie has in his 3-3-5. Second down and 9 coming up for Howard. Howard. For those of you who just tuned in, after the opening series, Adrian Martinez pulled himself out of the game.
And this is a 5-by look. This is amazing here for Kansas State. 5 receivers.
Howard.
Stop it off.
Yeah, to the back shoulder, and it's good to Malik Knowles.
Hodges Tomlinson out there in the quarterback position defending on that far side, Timmy. It's just a comeback route. Number 4 drives it. Nice move up foot, and the ball is already in the air right now, right? Little delayed push to separate, not necessarily needed because that ball is coming back to you. It's already thrown. It's a timing route. Beautiful execution.
LaDamian's really proud of him. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
From the 32, it's first down, K-State. Howard. Little up skip inside the 30 before being upended by Hodges Tomlinson again.
Tim, I'm not a big fan of running option with quarterbacks that really aren't, I'm going to say, designed for it into the short side of the field because you just don't have a lot of room to work with. And if you're going to make the option work, we've seen already this drive, you've got to deal it on the perimeter and close on that defender. The more space you have between the quarterback and the defender, the less effective it is.
Howard looking a little more like Skylar Thompson running this offense.
Oh, they had success with him.
Yeah, they did. Giddens ball on the ground. Looks like K-State got back on top of it. It was Sennett, the tight end, 34, that was able to get his lasers on the football and stop the turnover from taking place.
I think Dominic Williams was in there too, the nose tackle number 52, Timmy. He's a beast, man. He's a load. He's about 6'2", 320. I mean, you talk about a physics lesson coming at you right there. Cat quick, but big and squat. Plays that two-gap technique really, really well. Zero technique.
3rd and 11. Look at all that open space, Spencer, down at the bottom of your screen. It's amazing how in this defense, those gaps fill up so quickly. You've got procedure, it appears. False start coming against Kansas State. That's the preliminary indication.
Yeah, you were looking at Abe Samara here, and I know
54 offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's Hadley Panzer, who's a guy they bring out of the second unit to play both guard. On occasion, he might even move over to center.
Well, you know it's tough, but his name is Panzer, right?
Absolutely.
It's a German vehicle, right? From the war days, man.
3rd down and 16. Howard on a shotgun. Over the middle slot. It's Malik Knowles. Knowles, touchdown. K-State. Well, they're going to mark him down at the half-yard line. Wow. They're going to say that he hit at the half-yard line. I thought he had cracked through on that last lunge, and we got a TCU Horned Frog on the field. That's a good call.
Yeah, that left knee was down.
Yes, it was. He was stretching with all he had, but that left knee hit at about the 1.
And I will say this, irrespective of the down Horned Frog, you got to give credit where credit is due. Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator for Kansas State, did a wonderful job of finding the matchup that he wanted. As Coach Klein looks on and sorts through what's happening.
D. Winters is an outstanding backer. Losing him would be very, very difficult. And look at that quality teammate that is Adrian Martinez, congratulating his backup. Howard is now 5 for 5 for 130 yards. A lot of concern on the near sideline over the health and well-being of D. Winters, the strong linebacker. Let's go back to that catch. And Spencer, it was a rope that was thrown his way.
Well, look for the matchups. And Tim, this is Johnny Hodges, the weak side linebacker. You see, inside 22 comes in the breaking route right underneath him. You're talking about dropping a dime right over the top of that coverage. That's the window that you're looking for. Excellent read and reaction and covered and taking advantage of that short zone drop. A lot of times if you got like a Tampa 2, that guy's dropping back deeper into that zone. So if he's got enough athleticism, he doesn't make that play. Colin Klein, just great play design on his part.
Well, the good news is Winters is up and getting back to the sideline under most of his own power. And it'll be 1st and goal at the 1. On the lone setback, they go with 2 wideouts and a couple of tight ends. Howard on his own. I don't think he got there. He was pushed back. That's really hard, Spencer.
Now, you know
The
what's
low man
hard?
wins. Low man wins when you're that tall at quarterback.
You know, I've always had a problem with the guys just put their head down.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find some soft spots in there, Tim. And again, I'm splitting hairs here, but the bottom line is, you're a big man. You can move some people too. You add your weight to that push, find that soft spot in that front, and get behind it. Don't just put your head down and just push blindly.
Well, they'll have plenty of time to think about the next play as we come to the end of an amazing first quarter with a lot of surprises. Not the least of which is Will Howard is now in control of this Kansas State offense, not Adrian Martinez. Big plays on top of big play.
A Markstrom safe, all from the best seat in your house. NHL Center Ice. The game lives where you do. Order NHL Center Ice today.
We start the second quarter with Kansas State on the 1 yard line. And they're going to try it again. Down the push. That was Giddens, number 31, that played the role of Reggie, taking Leinart in back in 2005. So Will Howard gets into the end zone for the touchdown.
Tim, that makes it a 10-play drive. I mean, that's what, 75 yards thereabout? That's pretty impressive. That's the script they need to follow, particularly given Martinez being out of the contest. Still possessions away from this vaunted attack. That's their best job with Martinez looking on, and he knows that's the script we need to follow to have a chance with me out of the lineup.
Howard's 8th career touchdown. 10 for the extra point. So he's run it in 8 different times in his career. So it's not as if this guy doesn't know this offense and feels like that he can just hit the ground running, because he has, no doubt about it. And that is a spirited Kansas State sideline right now. And they've taken the air out of the building.
Yeah, and they've, 4 minutes, 53 seconds on that drive, Tim. It's a 10-play drive, and that's impressive. I mean, again, you can't score if you're not on the field. I don't matter how many weapons you have. If you're not on the field, they can't score. So this is playing right in the hands of what Kansas State needs to happen in order to keep this game close late with the chance to win.
The idea, concept of being able to redshirt him is probably going out the window tonight. You can forget about that. They're going to need him.
And Tim, just as an aside here, I think the psychological advantage of how quickly Kansas State scored without their number one quarterback on the heels of his injury really plays a big factor in the confidence of all players wearing that wild scrap purple over there.
So we've got a touchback. And a reminder that tomorrow